The moment we've all been waiting for. Your 2024 World Livestock Auctioneer Champion is Wade Leist from Boyne City, Michigan.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Paul Ramirez with the Western Ag Life Podcast, and we have a very, very special guest on this morning. I have my good friend and just been bestowed the World Championship 1 week ago today. Ladies and gentlemen, say goodbye, say good hello to my good friend Wade Leist from Boyne City, Michigan. Wade, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Paul. I'm doing great. You played that clip a couple times getting ready, and I don't get tired of hearing it. It still brings goosebumps right to the surface.
I bet it does, man. What an honor. What an honor. And congratulations to you. You know, I know that you're going to be an outstanding ambassador for this coming year. And, you know, like I've told, a lot of people, and of course I'm still, I'm not in the contest anymore, but stay pretty close to it. And I've been telling people all week, not only is Wade going to be a great, great representative for the livestock industry as a whole, but for auctioneers, because of the, how multifaceted you are. And, you're just not a livestock auctioneer, you're a very successful benefit auctioneer. And then certainly you can sell equipment and horses. And so, they picked the right guy last week. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
What an honor. And I know you're going to be an excellent ambassador for this year, and you're going to have an exciting year, and hopefully, it won't go by too fast, and you'll be able to, enjoy some of it. So I wish you all the best, and I wish you safe travel, but more importantly, I know you're going to do great things for the industry as a whole. And so, Wade, on this deal, we'll get to the championship and how that day played out, and that, I think a lot of auctioneers will want to, kind of know how that happened and what your feelings were. But what I'd like to do is just start back at your childhood, and so that people come on here, they'll, what ultimately, tell us a little bit about your childhood, your family, and that, and then we'll just kind of segue and move into, till last Saturday. Yeah. So tell us about your boyhood.
I grew up on a small farm in Northern Michigan. My dad, my first memories are my dad being an auctioneer. He had farm sales, estate sales, and he sold at 2 or 3 different livestock markets. And so I would work on the farm. I loved playing sports. I played baseball, religiously. I'd stand in the front yard and hit rocks, literally all day long. I just loved the sport. We played basketball and stuff, but when I wasn't doing something like that, I was helping out on the farm, and that was, spending your 4th of July in the hayfield, and that was moving from season to season. We didn't have spring, summer, fall, and winter. We had calving season, and then planting season, and then haying season, and then harvesting corn season, and then back to calving season. And so that's how I grew up, and ended up going to college. Had absolutely zero motivation to be an auctioneer. It was something my dad did, and I had no reservations about helping him out at an auction. I loved going to the cattle auctions and watching those, because I'd get to spend a lot of time with my grandfather too. But I had no ideations of being an auctioneer at all. And then
so as a child, you didn't play with the chant at all?
No, I mean, no more than I might leave an auction that he did, and just try real quick to do it and get tongue-tied within about 3 seconds, and then say, well, I guess I'm not born to do that. I mean, I literally thought it was a inherited skill, not a learned skill. So I thought, I didn't inherit that. I'm not going to be an auctioneer. And when I was maybe 20, I suppose, my older brother and I were driving somewhere, and he said he had gotten a tape from my dad of Ralph Wade, and it was an instructional tape. And he said, I'm going to learn how to be an auctioneer. And I thought, well, how were you born with it? I wasn't born with it. Like, can you do it right now? And he said, no, I'm going to watch this video, and I'm going to figure out how to do it, and then I'm going to do it. And I thought, oh, well, if you can do it, then I can do it. So I didn't actually watch that tape, but he said, this guy in this tape, he sells on RFD, he sells on the Superior Livestock. His name's Ralph Wade. You can just watch it on that. So every once in a while, during the week at lunchtime when we took a break, I'd go flip the I might skip lunch and go flip the TV on and watch Ralph Wade. I think maybe Kenny Wilcox was on at that time too, and
Kenny and
listen
him
to
worked
those
together
guys.
for a long time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
listen to those guys and just kind of be in wonder and awe. And then, but I just I think it was actually my brother again that told me you actually don't have to have a great chant to be in the auction business. So I thought, oh, good, I'll be able to make it.
Oh my goodness. And so then I guess you must have learned the chant, but then you didn't become an auctioneer right away. You went into a profession.
Actually, I learned the chant, and I did get right into doing auctions kind of before I knew much about the chant. It's kind of a bit of a funny story. I'd be out driving the tractor, and I would literally sell fence posts like 5, 5, 10, 10, and now 15, 15, 20, 20. And then I found the words that would go in between the numbers that would help me get from one number to the next. And I was at a horse sale in Southern Michigan, and I went to buy some horses. I was probably 19 or 20, and maybe 20, 21, something like that. I went to buy some horses, and I was standing up on the block as the auctioneer was selling tack. And he was a small guy. He's funny, and he's just a great guy. And he was selling, I don't know, halters or something. And he put the microphone down. He turned around. He said, "It's your turn, boy." And he walked off.
Wow.
And I had there was no other option other than just take over. And I had never sold a sale before. I mean, I didn't even have really a chant. So I started selling, and it was about 2 seconds into selling that I realized that what I'd been working on with the chant had nothing to do with my success on that particular sale. I couldn't remember who was bidding. I couldn't remember what number they were at. I didn't know how to describe what I was selling. I mean, everything was in fast forward, and I was stuck in neutral. But I got through it, and actually afterwards, he asked me if I wanted to come back and do it again. So it didn't go too bad, but I got started along that's how I got my start, and I kept working on it. But then I would start helping my dad on his estate auctions and things like that. And meanwhile, I'm still in college, and I was playing sports, and everybody kept asking me what my major was, and I said, well, it's business. And they said, well, what are you going to do with that? I said, I don't really know. And then I looked at the curriculum and said, man, I don't want to be in business. These classes are hard. So I switched over to a law enforcement education, and I enjoyed the classes. There were some good instructors. They were a lot of fun. I enjoyed going to them. And when I was done playing sports in college, I had this, I still had a couple years to go, and I just decided, I'll just switch and go to the academy. And my reasoning was, I'm working on the farm, but the farm's supporting 2 households. I don't know if it can do 3. So I'll go into law enforcement, and I'll get a paycheck. I'll stay around home, and then I can come work on the farm during my free time. So that was kind of my thought process behind it. So I went into law enforcement, kept working on the auction business, on the side, just working for my dad.
And so how long did you stay in law enforcement, and what level did you get to in law enforcement?
I stayed, well, the first 5 or 6 years, I just worked part-time. I never really wanted a full-time job in it. I thought this would be a nice way to earn a little money on the side. So I did it 5 or 6 years part-time. And then I went full-time in 2008, and I worked full-time until 2018. About half of that was as the detective.
Might will make a full career out of this auction thing. Isn't that funny? Cool. And so then let's go into, so when did you decide that this was something you could make a living, doing this and paying your bills?
It honestly, Paul, it wasn't until about 2015 or 16. I had been promoted to detective. My only auction income was working. I would sell my dad's sale, just, every week or maybe every other week. I would sell for anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on what kind of sale he had, for a cattle sale. If he had a special feeder sale, I might sell for 2 or 3 hours on and off. But on a normal sale, I might sell the pound cows. I might sell the baby calves or something. And it was in 2000, I think 15, 16, 17, right in that ballpark, that I started doing a lot of these charity auctions. And it went from, I did, one in the spring and one in the fall, and then I had 2 in the spring and 2 in the fall, and then I had 4 in the spring and 4 in the fall, and then I had 10 in the spring and 10 in the fall. And so I'm doing law enforcement on the side. I'm working on these cases, and meanwhile I'm getting emails about maybe doing the next event here and the next event there. And in late 2017, I realized that I had outpaced this law enforcement career doing these charity auctions. And so I just, I made the decision that when I ran out of vacation in 2018, I was just going to hang it up. And so I ran out of that vacation in 5 months. So I put in my resignation and left. And that was when I knew I could make a living, because I had a steady stream of basically uninterrupted, repeatable income from those auctions. But those really opened the door for me to start taking on some other markets. And it was, oh man, I think it was about 30 days after I left the sheriff's office, I get this call from Rock Valley, Iowa, just completely out of the blue. I decided I'm going to dedicate my time after leaving the office. I'm going to keep doing these charity auctions, but I'm going to dive into doing equipment and real estate and all kinds of different just personal property type auctions or real estate auctions. And I'm not going to be distracted. You know what? I'll still be able to sell cattle on Wednesdays, but that's going to be it. And I got this call from Rock Valley, Iowa. A man named Marion Russ answered, and he said, me and my partner Don Stang, we own the livestock market in Mitchell, South Dakota. And at that time it was the largest one in South Dakota and the 3rd largest in the country. And he said, our house auctioneer, he's having a little voice trouble, and he said, I sell quite a bit, but I don't want to sell as much. I like to run the block. I don't like to sell as much. Would you be interested in coming and trying out? I said, I was busy. I mean, I had a kid in each arm, and I was running out the door to an appointment, and I only answered it because I thought it might be a new client or something. And so when he said, I said, well, hold on, where are you from again? He said, well, I own the market in Mitchell, South Dakota. I said, you're looking for an auctioneer? Yes, I am. I said, hold on a minute. I texted my appointment. I said, I'll be a little late. I put the kids down, found something for them to do, and I went and sat down and had a conversation with this gentleman, and it opened so many doors. I started going out to Mitchell and working from that point, and still do.
Wow, what a tremendous opportunity, huh?
Yeah, it was a tremendous. I mean, if I have any intelligence at all, it was at that point realizing this is a big deal. I need to sit down and take some time to talk to this man. Yep.
Yeah. And it's funny how those kind of key things happen. Every auctioneer has a similar story. How one particular, situation allowed them to go on and to get into a certain level, and that. And so that's your story. Yeah. That's very common, when I talk with auctioneers, and that it's one little thing that ultimately, gets them to where they are. Yeah. And so when did you get the competition bug? When did you decide you want to start going to contests? Because I know you've been in a lot of contests.
Yeah, at our state level, our auction convention at the state level, I started competing for our state title in maybe 2007, 8, something like that. And I won it in 2015, but I had just come back from the qualifier for the LMA. And just prior to that, I had a friend that went to the Greater Midwest in, I want to say, like January, February of 2013. And I watched online, and I thought, man, I could do that. I mean, I'm only selling cows, for an hour a week, but I thought I could do that. So when he came back, I asked him about it. He said, yeah, come with me next year. I'm going to do it again. So we went out to West Fargo, North Dakota, to my first Greater Midwest, and that was 2014. And I was watching the contest, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go up there and put my best foot forward. And I walked up. I was number 11 to go, and there was a gentleman that was number 10, and he was selling in front of me. And I walked up on the back of the block, ready to take my turn, and I was listening to him, and I thought, I'm in the wrong league. I made a mistake. This guy is playing for the Yankees, and I'm playing in T-ball. And it was Shane Wolf from Golden Valley, North Dakota, and I got done. I did my thing. I got done. Didn't make the top 10. I got home, and to be quite honest, I was feeling a little sorry for myself. Like, a guy from Michigan doesn't have a shot against these guys in the the Midwest and the upper Midwest and the plains, and they're selling these big drafts, and they're selling, thousands every week, and I'm selling maybe 2,000 a year. I just don't have a shot, up here doing this kind of thing. And I got my scores back, and I still remember where I was. I was out in the yard, and I was doing something, and I went to the mailbox, and I opened it up right there in front of the mailbox, and I got 11th, and I was 1 point behind Shane Wolf.
Oh, geez.
And that was that thing that said, okay, you're not, it wasn't what you thought it was. You have a shot. Mm-hmm. And so I went to that qualifier that fall in Arcadia, Florida, and you were there. That's the first time I met you.
I was.
Yeah. Brian Little, yourself, Jay Romine, you guys came rolling in a new
Darren Carter.
Yep, Darren Carter was there, and his name is escaping me, but he's out of Arizona too. Darren Shumway. Yeah. You guys all piled out of an SUV, and I thought, oh my gosh, these are the big leaguers. What am I doing here? But I got fortunate. I was selected out of that and went to my first WLAC.
Yeah, and I didn't make the top 10 there.
And you were the second most shocked person. I was the first.
Yeah. And what was funny about that deal, Darren Carter was several times runner-up to the World Championship, and him and I were sitting together, and he didn't make the top 10. Yeah. And so that's just a testimony, that on every day, you have an opportunity in that contest. If you do the right things. And then, of course, we all know you have to have a set of judges that kind of align with you too. Right. And so that's important. And so now you start to have success in contests. So what's the first contest you won? I guess your state contest?
Yeah, that state contest in 2015 was the first one that I won. And then, I didn't have another victory until I won the Greater Midwest in 2020. It was in Bagley, Minnesota, and it took a major snowstorm. It took a global pandemic, but I got her done. We went from like 30 contestants to 18, and I was able to come out of it.
Hey man. And so now it just came to me here that I didn't realize it, and now I put it together. You have the Triple Crown in the livestock deal.
Yep.
There's not very many guys that have that. Congratulations for that now. So that means you won the Greater Midwest. And then, of course, we're going to talk about it for a second. Maybe we're jumping just a little bit ahead here. But then you won the international contest at the Calgary Stampede. And then, of course, now you're the current world champion livestock auctioneer. Wow.
Yeah.
Big league.
Yeah. I started going to that international contest in Calgary. I knew you had won it. And then you were judging it in 15, and yes. you sent out some stuff on social media. And I still remember sitting at my desk seeing that Paul Ramirez is trying to get people to go to this contest. And I thought, I don't think I'm maybe ready for a big one like that, And so my friend Marcus Kent went up there, and he won it. He won that deal. And I said, man, I'm going up next year. Marcus and I knew each other, but weren't especially close by any means. And then he won it, and so I went up the next year, and that was my first year up there. It was 2016, and then from then on, him and I got very close. He's one of my best friends in the world, let alone the industry. And so I went up in 16, and then I stayed going. And they had a break for COVID for 2 years, and when they come back out of the break, I won it in 2022.
Wow. Yeah, and what a contest that is, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the hospitality that takes place at the Calgary Stampede, and I'm fortunate, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going back again this year. Madison, my daughter's going to compete, and so